Hello everyone. Now it's time for us to practice the closing transfers. So far, we dealt with the theoretical part of it, and now I just want us to go through the practical exercise so that we can be able to apply the information that we claimed to understand. Okay, so be ready for this, and then hopefully after this you will understand. This is my contact details. Okay, as you can see here, we have the pre-adjustment trial balance. This pre-adjustment trial balance, as you can see, has been divided into two. We have got balance sheet section, we've got nominal account section. So the nominal account section will be on the next slide. I think by now you know that under balance sheet section, we only have assets, owners' equities, and liabilities. I repeat, under balance sheet section, we only have assets, owners' equities, and liabilities. Now, if we switch over to the next slide, you can see that we've got nominal accounts section. So under nominal account sections is where we find our incomes and expenses. Remember, when you compile trading account and profit and loss account, the focus must only be on the incomes and expenses. So we need to be careful. So in the exam, don't waste time by going to the balance sheet section. Just focus on the nominal account section. As you can see here, we've got sales up to security expenses. If in the exam they give you the pre-adjustment trial balance like this or the post-adjustment trial balance like this can be helpful for those who are still unable to identify incomes and expenses. Under nominal account section, everything on the credit side is an income, and everything on the debit side will be an expense. I prefer you to know it by heart, not because of the size, because sometimes they can give you this list of balances under the same column without separating the credits from debits. So that can be a challenge. Okay, but just know that on the credit side we've got incomes, on the debit side we've got what? Expense. Okay, so make sure that you have got all this information, because by the time when I start recording, I want you to be able to understand and be able to trace the amounts which I'm going to use to compile the required accounts. As I said, we've got the balance sheet section and we've got what? The nominal accounts section. So we need to make sure that for now we focus on the nominal account section. Why? Because I'm going to compile this trading account and the profit and loss. Now, the requirements: open the trading account and the profit and loss account for the year ended 31st of May. Yes, sometimes they can ask you general on this. So in the next coming session, I'll try to show you how will the general for closing transfer look like. For now, let's focus on the trading account. Okay. As you can see here, I've got trading account, and our financial year, as was indicated, the financial year is 31st of May 2050. So firstly, I'm going to start with sales. Remember, I gave you the notes about the sales. Remember, the sales must come to the credit side. So I'm going to come to the credit side like this. I'm going to say 2015 May. I'm going to put it here as the 31st because the closing transfers are dealt with on the at the end of the period, and I'm going to put my sales here. Okay, so I'll need to put my sales here. So we need to make sure that we adjust the sale like we said before. Okay, we need to adjust the sales. So remember, the sales will be recorded in there. This closing transfer will go to what? To the GEJ. Okay, and thereafter we will need the amount. So, but for sales, we need to make sure that we show the calculation. Remember, we had a formula under my notes. Please, we can even go and refer to the notes which I gave you. So we need sales. Find sales. If you can go and find the amount for sale, the amount for sale is 84227. Okay. And again, I said you must look for any sales returns. Yes, we do. Sales returns of how much? Minus 37070. And we must check for any settlement discount granted. If we have, we're gonna minus. And I said you must also check any allowances for settlement discount granted adjustment. But in this case, we only have these two, so I'm gonna only deal with these two figures. So it's gonna be 84227 minus 37070. I get 805,200. As I said, I get 80225. Sorry, 200. Okay, this is the first thing that we must do under the trading account. Remember the day, the sales, and the sales must be adjusted, and then you must put it on the credit side. Okay, if you can check this exercise, the cost of sales has been given to us. This means that we are using a perpetual system. Again, we need to come to the debit side and say 2015, and I'm going to put May, and then this is the 31st as we indicated, and now I'm dealing with what? Cost of sales. I'm going to write cost of sales. Okay, and again, remember for closing transfer we use general turn-up, and we need to check if we've got any settlement discount received. If I check we don't have something like that, so we're going to put the cost of sales as they are. The cost of sales according to the information 317,900. Okay, this is how we deal with the cost of sales and the sales. Okay, very easy, but you must be careful. And thereafter, we just have to balance this account. We have to check and say which side is the biggest. As you can see, the credit side is the biggest. I'm going to write it down like that. And I'm going to put on the other side. I think now you know how to balance the account. And the difference between the credit and the debit will be, I'm going to say 805,200 less 317,900. I get, change the color for this. I get 487. Let me double check. 805,200 minus 317,900. I get 487. Okay, 487. Double check it again. So I'm just trying to calculate here. 485,200 minus 317,900. 487,300. Okay. So this is what we find, and this is called gross profit because the credit is more than the debit. But remember, the amount, the gross profit is transferred to profit and loss account. Okay. Okay. Remember, I said in brackets you can just write this is our gross profit. Okay, so this is how it needs to look like. Okay, so we need to make sure that we know how to balance this account. It's very much important, and then we must make sure that we understand. Let me just draw the line here so that it can be easy to deal with. And I'm gonna draw the line just to show, and then these are just the totals. Okay, don't worry, I don't have a ruler, so I'm just trying to show you how I balance this. Okay, hopefully things make sense. Okay, and now your trading account is complete. Okay, so thereafter we are gonna open the profit and loss. Remember, note that we do have an amount called profit and loss here. Can you see this amount? This amount is important. So I'm going to make sure that I remember this amount by the time when I go to the profit and loss account. So in the profit and loss account, this amount of 487,300 will appear on the credit side. Remember the double entry system. So let's go to the next slide where we are going to show the profit and loss. Before we can forget, we must just go and record that amount that we said is going to go to the profit and loss. So I'm going to come to the credit side, 2015 May 31st, and then I'm going to say trading account because the amount has been taken from trading account. Okay, and we just say GJ, and the amount was how much? 487. Okay, this is how we deal with the trading account. As you can see, this is just a flow from the trading account we transfer to the profit and loss. Okay, and again you must know that from the profit and loss we're going to transfer to capital. Okay, so now after putting the trading account, remember this side is where I'm going to put all my incomes, and this side, which is the credit side, and on the debit side is where I'm going to put my expenses. This will help me a lot. Okay, so let's start with the income. So let's go and check incomes one by one from the information. The first income I see the interest on fixed deposit. Okay, so again the journal will be GJ, and then the amount according to the information given to us is 5,390. Okay, this is the first income I found. If you can check, we've got the interest on fixed deposit on the credit side, and that interest on fixed deposit is 539. You can even see it on the credit side. Remember I said, if you are not sure whether something is an income or expense, all the incomes are on the credit side. And I prefer you that if you are busy dealing with this question, whatever you have used so far, you must tick. For example, so far you should have ticked sales, you should have ticked sales returns, you should have ticked cost of sales, you should have ticked interest on fixed deposit. The next income is, as you can see, is given there, is services income. Okay, the services incomes, and then again, as I said, the journal is GJ. Okay, and then according to the information, the services income are given as 93,170. Okay, so these are the only incomes which I managed to find from the trial balance given to us. So if you don't have any other incomes, it means it will be time for you to go and find what other expenses. Okay, so we only have two incomes, and then they've been joined by the trading account. I hope so far you are following. Okay, now let's check the first expense which we have. I can see on N6 I've got electricity expense. Electricity expense. Electricity expense, again, remember everything is going to be general. And the electricity expense is given to us as how much? 16,280. Okay, that has been taken from the nominal accounts. It is N6, as you can see, that if you want to easily trace the amount. The next expense I find is credit losses. Remember, they're the same as the bad debts. And again, let's go to the general journal. When I go and check my credit losses, I find it is N7, it is 5,500. Okay, this is what I found as my credit losses, 5,500. The next expense is travel and accommodation. travel and accommodation, yes. And again, we need to go to the GJ for the travel and accommodation. And how much is the amount for travel and accommodation? That is N8. If you can go and check N8, the amount is 16,060. Okay, so this is the amount for travel and accommodation. Okay, the next account that I see, it is stationery. Okay, stationery is one of the expenses, as you can see there. And then remember, we still use general journal for the stationery. And the amount for stationery, if I check there, the stationery amount is 16,390. Okay. Yes, very easy, very easy. Yes, yes, yes. That is how we dealt with what? With the stationery. Okay. The next one that we have got the interest, or interest on bank loan. The interest on bank loan also go to the GJ. And how much is the interest on the bank loan? I find 6,160. Okay. That was the interest on loan. Okay. The next expense is cleaning material. Cleaning material, GJ. And how much is the cleaning material, which is the cleaning expenditure? 11,000 rands. Okay. Next expense is internet expense. And then GJ, and the amount for internet expenditure is 6,160. Okay. I hope everyone is following. The next item is wages and salaries. GJ, how much is wages and salaries? 39,380. Okay. Those are the wages and salaries. And we also have insurance expenses. Okay. These insurance expenses, GJ, and they are how much? I'm gonna check now. The insurance expenses are given to us as 122,540. And the next one is security expenses, and they must go to GJ, and the amount is 5,126. Okay. So this is how I find my incomes and expenses. And the only thing that is left here is to balance. Remember, if you struggle, guys, you need to go back to the notes and everything will make sense. And I hope everyone is following. As you can see, the debit side, we've got expenses. The credit side, we've got incomes. Okay. For now, we just have to add the total of everything. I'm going to add the credit side and thereafter compare with the debit side. Okay. The credit side that I'm going to add, I'm going to have 487,300 plus 5,390 plus 93170. I get 585,860. Okay. 585,860. So we need to also add the other side so that we can know the biggest side. I'm going to add the the debit side, 16,280 plus 5,500 plus 16,060 plus 16,390 plus 6,160 plus 11,000 plus 6160 plus 39380 plus 122540 plus 51260. Okay. I get 290,700. Okay. This 290,700 is the lowest as compared to what? To the credit side. So I'm gonna put 585,860 as the balance figure. So I'm gonna come here at the bottom. I'm gonna put 585,860 if I'm not mistaken. Okay. 860, yes, that is the total for both. I'm gonna put 585,860 because the credit side is the biggest. Okay, I hope everyone is following. We are about to calculate the missing figure. So let me just draw the lines here, guys. Problem, and then I'm gonna draw the line here. Never mind the skewed lines, just show you that these are the totals. These are the totals. Okay. So now I'm going to find the difference between the sides. And the difference between the sides, we must also know what to call them. So I'm going to take the smallest side and minus it from the biggest side. Okay. I'm going to say 585,860 minus the total of expenses. And I got 295,130. Okay, we call this must go to the capital account. Remember the notes when I was showing you? So this is going to be taken to capital account. Okay, and then remember in brackets, we have to say whether it's a net loss or net profit. I'm going to put it here at the bottom. So this is our net profit. Okay, the net profit affects capital. Remember, even the net loss will affect what? Capital. So this is how the profit and loss look like. Very easy, very easy. Okay, now we're going to go to the capital account, which is on the next slide. Okay, now the capital account, the way you know it, the first thing that you must put, we need to go and put the balance of capital. So if you can go to the list of balances, we've got capital balance. Okay, this capital balance, obviously the closing transfers are at the end. I'm going to say 2015 May. Okay, remember this is done at the end of the period, and we're going to say balance brought down. Okay, this is the balance brought down, okay, or brought forward, and according to the balances is 452,650. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that is the balance given. It must be given. Okay. But before we can transfer any other thing, we need to go and bring this, find the drawings and bring them. Remember I said drawings must always go to the side. Okay, so the drawings must always be on the debit side because they decrease what? Capital. Okay, so we need to make sure that we say drawings because otherwise we can forget if we don't put it first. Okay, we must put, first put drawings, and then we must go and trace drawings. You can go to the list of balances. Drawings are given as 2,200. Okay, so please don't forget to put drawings, otherwise you're gonna forget. Okay, and thereafter, remember we did our profit and loss. We set capital under profit and loss, and that capital was on the debit side of the profit and loss. Now we need to transfer it to the credit side of what? Of the capital account. Or you can apply the double entry system. Okay, so we're gonna come here and say we found this information from profit and loss. Remember, we're transferring from the profit and loss account. Okay, and that amount is the net profit we made. And the amount, if I remember very well, it was 29513. Okay, this is very much important. In other words, this profit and loss amount that I just recorded now depends on the profit and loss. So you cannot do the profit and loss before you do the trading account, and you cannot compile capital account before profit and loss. There's a link, there's a flow. Okay. After doing this, we just have to balance the account. Okay. What is the biggest side between the two? Obviously, the biggest side is what is the credit. So I'm gonna add the figures on the credit side because it's the biggest. And when I add, I get 747, 780, and then I'm gonna copy it on the other side as 778. Okay. So we are gonna have a difference on the debit side, and you must also know how to call this difference. Okay. So the difference between the two sides, if we calculate, I'm gonna say 747, 780 minus 2,200. Okay. The balance missing figure is 745. This is called balance carried down. Can you see? This must be the balance carried down. Okay, of 74558. Okay, and we must also bring it down, remember, on the other side and say 2015 and then April. The first day of the next financial year. Okay, and then we say balance brought down. Okay. And then the brought down, as you know, is the same as carried down. Okay. And this is how your account needs to look like. Okay. So make sure that you understand. Very easy to understand, guys. Just be careful. Let's make sure that we get more marks on this one. So, but it can be confusing if you're not careful. But if you're careful, I guarantee you the success when it comes to this section. This is how the capital account look like. Okay, so we need to make sure that we understand how to deal with this kind of information. So this is how the closing transfers look like under what? The general ledger accounts. But next time, they can ask you for general journal. That is what I'm going to do next, so that when they ask you for GJ, at the same time, you understand what to do. Thank you very much, guys. I hope everything makes sense. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming exams. Thank you very much.